Good morning, everybody. Can I get an indication if I'm online?
Morning, Stephen. Yes, you are. We can see you.
Beautiful. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday morning. I see I've got some thumbs up, so that's great. Welcome to our podcast this morning. Again, we've had some interesting glitches. So technology is always an interesting animal. This morning, we've got a great session lined up. We're talking about business in a box. And I think it's such a great concept and requirement for a business to be able to provide the organization with a single platform which covers all the elements that you require from your operation. And why is this important? And I'm talking to the business managers here. I'm talking to the CEOs. I'm talking to everybody who's in a management position in an organization. If your organization is running on spreadsheets, whether you like it or not, this presentation is for you, because running on spreadsheets and running on email as a primary communication tool, while it has its advantages in terms of versatility and flexibility, it introduces a massive amount of risk to your organization and effectively requests your employees to make their own way in terms of organizational strategy. So what's important is that as a business provider, you need to be able to introduce systems into your organization which assist with digital transformation. Sorry, guys, let me just. So, which provide the capability to allow your organization to transform digitally, to provide a new way of communicating between businesses as opposed to emails and documentation hard copy. Technology exists to connect businesses from a business to business perspective. And then very importantly, the ability to provide your employees with data analytics ability. Now, Business in a Box from KEY360 provides a single platform to achieve all of these elements in various elements of the organization. So from the ability to manage business, the normal operations, capital projects, e-procurement, document management, human resources, performance management, asset management, all of these areas can be covered in a single platform. And we're going to dive into that a little bit this morning. So what are we trying to achieve as an organization? And I think from a CEO perspective, from a manager's perspective, you need to take a step back and say, how are we empowering employees with a platform to actually do their jobs flawlessly? And flawless execution is what KEY360 is about. So you have the responsibility to provide this to your organization. And what we talk about when we talk about flawless execution, we need to be able to reduce cost. We need to be able to increase output with the purpose of creating more profit, of creating a happy environment for your employees and a growth environment for your employees. So what does that mean? We talk about one platform. So having a business in a box, all your business and operations systems and processes in a single platform. Now, what this does is it increases transparency, it increases learning, and increases the ability of the organization to work efficiency. The next step is network dynamics. So once you've got all these business processes in a single environment, you have the ability to create what we call network dynamics, harnessing the power of people communicating with each other. It's like social networking in a business environment, while still providing your employees with configurability and versatility in terms of what they're doing. So this is a very important concept. You can't have a an operations platform which is too rigid. And that's why your traditional ERPs are often too heavy and too rigid and too expensive to provide the stimulation and the configurability required to run the operations side of your organization. So you need flexibility. And this is typically why users fall back into the Excel environment. Now, integration from a business intelligence and from a transparency perspective can't be emphasized enough. So KEY360 Business in a Box allows your organization to provide massive transparency in terms of the data and in terms of creating dashboards and reports on a consistent basis to influence the behavior of your organization. So behavior modification is effectively what we sell with KEY360, and that comes from achieving all of these initial aspects in terms of achieving flawless execution. And then the final note from what you want to achieve with your platform is the 10x output increase. And what this allows you to do is run more efficiently, run faster, run with better data, run with performance management, run with KPIs. So the 10x output increase comes as a result of being able to influence your organization from a behavior perspective in all of those elements. So diving a bit deeper into KEY360, because we know our audience wants to see KEY360, what it's about. So what is KEY360? KEY360 is cloud platform technology. So it's an operations ERP. It is a business-to-business collaborator, and this is very important. So you need to be able to communicate outside of your organization through your own platform. And if you're going to achieve this, then you're actually achieving the synergy both with your clients as well as your providers, your suppliers, your stakeholders, creating a single digital integrative platform to be able to run your organization, make your clients run more efficiently, make your own business run more efficiently, and allow your suppliers to join in your efficiency drive. And this comes from having an embedded BI reporting, dashboarding, transparency capability. So what does KEY360 cover? Capital project management, that was our roots. That's how we learned about massive data management, about workflow management, about connecting different companies and managing all that in a documented fashion, which can be audited. And then we moved from capital project management into business management and operations management. So that's KEY360 in a nutshell. We're award-winning technology. We're based on a Microsoft stack. We are a Microsoft co-sell partner, which gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling around all the new stuff that Microsoft is doing and the support of Microsoft as an organization when you go through the KEY360 route. So again, as I said, we started off in capital project management and then started building an operations management environment because this is what we needed as an organization to grow. So just running through a couple of the core elements that you need to run as an organization. And again, today we're talking about business in a box. Do you have a single platform where your employees and your managers and your executives can actually thrive inside in a cohesive environment? So what are we talking about? We're talking about CRM. So business development, connecting with your social networking capability, connecting directly with your landing pages, then moving into an HR environment. How do you manage your employees? How do you recruit? How do you manage business performance management? How do you develop your employees? All of these elements we needed as an organization, and these were all built into KEY360 from a business in a box perspective. And then getting down into the hard operations of your organization from a supply chain perspective, from an operations management perspective. So anything in terms of progress, anything in terms of tracking productivity, tracking asset management, all of those elements sit inside our operations management capability. And then every single organization needs to be able to run projects efficiently. So what does that mean? That runs from event management through to simple minutes of meeting, through communications management. So all of these elements of business could be contained inside a single platform. And KEY360 is that platform. Now, at the same time, we need to be able to communicate well with your traditional accounting ERP platforms. And why is this important? Accounting, payroll, and the physical payment, those systems have been well developed and extremely mature over hundreds of years, actually. And lately, from a digital perspective, these are well-developed systems. So we don't, business in a box connect well with your ERP. And then, as we've said, business in a box connects extremely well with your clients, with your vendors, and any other stakeholder that you want to include inside your business environment. So from a systems perspective, what are we actually looking at? We've got over 200 systems now built out in KEY360, covering a vast range of elements. And some of them are brand new, some of them are developing. So if we could just look through the different areas. So on this side, we've got a business transformation leg, which allows us to run from a business transformation perspective. So managing your strategy, managing behavior, digitalization of your organization. KEY360 can help you track your entire digital journey, your digital maturity, and then from a business to business perspective. And then the last one in the list here from a transformational perspective is including IoT inside your stack. So having a single platform, again, we're talking about one platform, to be able to connect in external data sources into that environment. Then from a digitalization perspective and an optimization perspective, business optimization is extremely critical. So it doesn't help to have all of this data inside your organization. And most organizations have a lot of data floating around, but they do not have the ability to actually use that data effectively. And that's a big hole in most of our organizations. So KEY360 is designed around data analytics and visualization of that information, because that's where your behavior modification comes from. And you can do that without getting in external developers or database specialists. It's all built into business in a box. So that's where the advantage of KEY360 comes from. Then from an analytics perspective, having all of this information inside a single platform provides a natural catalyst to get your employees in terms of analyzing data. So, and from an executive perspective, you could literally draw on a whiteboard what you want from a process perspective and from a dashboard perspective, and your normal employees can create these views and push reporting directly from the platform. Then from a core perspective, business development, running the costs of the organization. So as we've said, the accounting portion is not included in KEY360 because those are mature systems that you've already got built into your organization. But running costs and running finance, running an effective human resources platform, all of the elements of human resourcing, from recruitment through to employee development, recognition systems, as well as timesheets, all built into the human resources element. Then, and we'll have a look at that in a second, risk and compliance, obviously documentation, and I've got it around the bottom here, along with the performance management. Document management is a core element of the organization, and every organization that we talk to has a massive requirement for effective document management, and this now bridges into how documents are stored, collected, how they're actually used in terms of the operations of the organization. So from a lawyer's firm that we were talking to earlier in the week, all the way through into project management, asset management, fabrication and delivery, FMCG organizations, manufacturers. All of these businesses require the same basic elements of document and records management. And then we move into, obviously, e-procurement and supply chain. So that's a very strong area of KEY360, which provides the heart of the supply chain engine running the organization. And then obviously our strong point in terms of project management. These elements, these core elements, are supported by our support modules. So quality assurance and quality control, supported by our communications capability. So a vast amount of communication engines in KEY360, allowing workflow, allowing emails to be sent, allowing direct access to external portals, health and safety, asset management, and managed services as part of the core capability of an organization and the support engine that drives the operations. And then when we get to a pure operations perspective, we have very good tools in terms of product development. So any organization that is into product development, into manufacturing. So these are brand new tools in KEY360 in terms of stock management, in terms of managing the manufacturing process. Also, new information coming into KEY360 is production data. So there's some elements of production data which are part of the core of the development area of KEY360. Maintenance management is a brand new area inside KEY360, which is being developed as we speak, and will be developed over the next 6 months into a fully fledged maintenance management area. And again, on the production side, we've got KEY360 IoT, which allows you to import and automatically transfer information from devices into the platform. And again, being business in a box, we have the ability to communicate and manage this information in a cohesive fashion. So in terms of what we're trying to achieve, why use KEY360? So why go into an environment where you're selecting a specific tool with a platform capability? So I'm just going to go through these points very quickly. Powerful ERP. So simpler, faster, cheaper, and more versatile than your traditional ERPs. Extremely user-centric. So we turn users into super data analysts. And this is a bit of a dopamine effect inside your organization. So when users are successful inside a database environment, what we find is that they work faster and faster and faster. It's also executive-centric because of our dashboarding capability, and we have the ability to create this data trust inside your organization. So very few organizations actually trust the data that they're seeing from a dashboarding and a transparency perspective. And that wastes a lot of time in the organization because executives need to actually trust this data coming from an integrated platform. Then we've talked a bit about behavior modification coming from the visualization capability, business-to-business collaboration, extremely strong inside business in a box, and it's simple and effective. So not difficult to set up and connect it directly into your business partners. Cost efficiency, KEY360 has an extremely low lifetime cost to company from an ERP perspective. So having all of these different systems, which you may use some of, you don't have to use all of them, inside a single integrated platform provides an extremely low cost to company over a lifetime perspective. Solution coverage, we've talked about this, having all of these business processes inside a single environment. Legacy system friendly, this is very important, so don't get rid of the systems that you already have that are working well. KEY360 can connect extremely well with your existing platforms, with your existing systems, and actually enhance the data that is inside those environments. And then backed up by a leading document management and ECMS capability. So we're getting more and more clients that are entering into the KEY360 game directly through document control. And it's actually shocking to see how many organizations are actually operating without effective document management. And then the final one, which is really important from an executive perspective, while KEY360 provides transparency and visibility and versatility, we also have an extremely strong risk and compliance capability. So ESG management, auditing, security, all of that is locked down to an ERP grade level inside our local and international service. Progressive tech, just a quick word on this. When you invest in a platform, you need to invest in a platform which is actually going in a certain direction. So in terms of climate change, in terms of the carbon economies, in terms of KEY360 Green, this is something that you need to look at as part of your organization and selecting digital platforms which actually work with you. We talked about IoT, building information management. So the ability of KEY360, both from a project perspective, but also from an organizational perspective, to provide a digital twin for your organization. So you can actually see your organization run in an integrated operations center environment. We'll have a look at that in a second. KEY360 mobility. So take your business mobile. This is extremely important. So the ability to run in a distributed fashion, and then the brand new elements inside of KEY360 from a progressive tech perspective, KEY360 crypto, which is the KEY360 game in terms of earning cryptocurrency for the work that you're doing in KEY360, as well as eventually running smart contracts directly through our blockchain technology. And then our developers are extremely busy building AI engines into KEY360. Now, obviously, from a security perspective, AI inside a private cloud environment is an interesting concept and an interesting dilemma, because we need to make sure that our security of our client data is taken care of while providing the power of AI inside your organization. So that's KEY360 progressive tech. What is the purpose? The purpose of an organization is to run efficiently and influence the behavior of your systems, as well as your employees, as well as your machines. And KEY360 provides that ability to run all that inside a single platform. And we call that an integrated ops center. So whether it's a single screen in terms of a tiny organization or a full-blown integrated operations center, KEY360 Business in a Box provides the technology to actually take all your business processes into a single dashboarding environment. Okay, so let's jump out of KEY360, out of the presentation, and go and visit KEY360 itself. Okay, where are we at here? Right, so our first view of the KEY360 platform takes us into an organizational structure. So as you enter KEY360, one of the key elements is the ability to actually provide, again, the digital twin, the organizational structure, which mimics your organization. And this provides us the ability to report at any one of these levels and aggregate data across all of these levels. So if you have recruitment across your organization, you can pull all that recruitment data together. If you have a risk management and a compliance requirement across the whole organization in different departments and different sectors, you can aggregate that information across through our organizational structure tool inside KEY360. So all your data is is distributed, but also aggregated through our organizational engine. And this is what you're seeing here. And obviously, from an organizational perspective, you can build that into KEY360. Then jumping into a single platform, one of the elements of KEY360 is the ability to build landing pages. Now, in HR, we call this the HPA, the Human Potential Accelerator. And this is a tool built onto the back of and with the tools inside KEY360. Now, this is just a flavor of what you can design into the platform when you really get into KEY360. And with this tool, we use this to create empowered, engaged, and energized employees. And as part of this process, we look at communicating strategy with our employees. We look at communicating culture and values and core competencies that we've designed into the organization, all the way through to development plans. Just taking a couple of gems out of here, event attendance, mentor management, performance management, and then the softer issues like happiness and remuneration, communication with the organization, even things as simple as dopamine communication. So KEY360 has the ability to manage all of these elements inside a single platform. And again, this is where business in a box really starts taking form. And then jumping into some of the elements of KEY360 is the visualization capability of the platform. So you can design views and graphics into the platform to actually influence the behavior of your organization. So I'm going to jump into another version of KEY360. You'll see as I jump through the different layers, KEY360 has the ability to open up multiple versions of the software inside your environment. So KEY360 acts as a browser into the database, and multiple users and obviously multiple dashboards can be drawn by a single user at the same time. So I'm going to go and jump down here into Business in a Box. And again, we're now inside KEY360, and we can see this landing page that we've just seen inside the presentation inside KEY360 itself. So the collaborative environment of KEY360 allows us to design these landing pages as well as the menu system across the top of the screen here to allow access into the platform. Now, why is this important? Because with role-based access, you can see I'm logged in as an administrator here. With role-based access, we allow users to see what they really need to see. Okay, and as they gain access to the platform, they then access these desktop environments. So when I click on one of these white tabs here, you'll see that I've got all of these elements open from a desktop perspective inside the KEY360. All right, now over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to venture into a couple of the tools inside the platform, as we've discussed during the presentation. And having all of this capability available and accessible in a single platform is extremely powerful and is the concept of business in a box. Right, so let's start with the view. Right, so from a transformation and an organizational perspective, KEY360 has various tools from an integration perspective, from an HR perspective, and then from a communication perspective to achieve all of these elements inside the platform. And just to demonstrate the environment, I'm going to go into a purchase order register. So as we go into KEY360, you'll see the different look and feel of what we're doing. Now, I can't go into everything because it's really a lot of different systems inside the platform. Each user will access a couple of these systems depending on their role, but there's a lot to see. Okay, so don't be overwhelmed. by all the tabs, each user will be restricted to the area of their department or their specific roles. Now, I'm just going to double click on an item here. So this is our procurement environment. KEY360 facilitates a full procurement environment. And why I'm going in here is just to show you the versatility of the platform. And you can see the likeness to ERP requirements, as well as the versatility of operating inside a KEY360 environment. And one of these elements is the workflow engine. So the purpose of Business in a Box is to manage your data, to manage your documents, to make sure all of your departments are perfectly interconnected, but then, very importantly, to manage the workflow engine behind your organization. So the first element of workflow is this workflow can be designed from a department perspective or from an organizational perspective, literally for every project or job or different department that you require. So very easy to design. And then this little number on the left-hand side here is the number of days that this specific purchase order or this specific item was actually sitting on somebody's table. Now, we map that data, we dashboard that data. So from an organizational perspective, you can actually see how much time an item has been on anybody's desk. Now, having that aggregated over 160 to 200 odd systems gives you incredible power in managing exactly what's important and exactly what's relevant inside your organization, and making sure that things are moving in the first place. And then in the second place, actually optimizing those business processes from a business in a box perspective. So whether you're in HR or risk management or quality management or operations management, or having items delivered from a fabrication process or managing a fabrication or manufacturing facility, the concept of expediting workflow permeates through the entire platform. Okay, connection to other modules. So this is a purchase order, but we've got direct connection into budgeting and into the costing engine inside your ERP. You've got a direct connection with the invoicing of these items inside the platform. You'll see as I go through, we have a very strong multi-currency capability inside KEY360. And then from a contract management perspective. So a lot of the losses are in an organization are actually inside the supply chain environment. So managing contractors and having business in a box to allow you to go through the tender process, to go through our e-procurement capability, and then all the way down into managing specific contractors and suppliers, optimizing stock levels, etc. All important elements of running inside a business in a box environment. And then obviously the ability to connect directly into our document management engine. So every single area of KEY360 provides access into our document management capability. So this is a purchase order, but I can access immediately the specific drawings, specifications, or any other requirements that I have inside that environment. So I'm going to jump out of this purchase order and go back into KEY360. The versatility of the platform is the next thing I want to talk about. So I want to open up a cost report here. Now, I'm going to use this as a demonstration of the versatility of the platform, because one of the key elements of Business in a Box is to allow your employees the freedom to work inside an open data environment, but inside a well-structured database environment with the right auditing capability, the right workflow. So one of the elements is our grid environment. It looks and feels like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's on steroids. So we have the ability to manipulate this data in terms of what you're seeing. So every single employee can actually design a view of the information that suits their specific brain function, their specific function, as well as what they want to see. And I can actually duplicate this view multiple times with a specific requirement. So this is a cost report. If I was the cost guy, I would be wanting to see this information grouped by costing. Okay, so we've pivoted the information inside KEY360 to allow us to view this information by a cost view. Now, if I was the project manager inside this environment, I would potentially want to see this cost information by phase as well as the cost view. So again, we've got pivoted data here, which now shows multiple levels of grouping of that information. Now, as with Excel, we're also able to group and filter and sort this information, and then save these views into a layout which I can either use later or share with the rest of the organization or build into a specific dashboard. Now, that versatility of use is massive inside a KEY360 environment. So again, when we talk about business in a box, we're allowing your employees to create these views, and then these views then become part of a dashboard environment. Now, KEY360 also facilitates various views of the information. So information coming from a project Gantt can be imported directly into the platform. We also have what we call linear tracking. So obviously the organization is built around the requirement to expedite processes through your organization. So this is a fabrication view, either tracking fabrication from an external supplier or tracking a fabrication facility. These linear processes are designed into the platform and then manage the dates, the earned value, the commodity management, all inside the KEY360 management tool. So I'm just going through these views to give you a bit of a flavor of all the elements that KEY360 covers inside your single business in a box, as well as the ability to manage Gantt inside the platform. So as I click through here, you can see the versatility of running inside a coordinated fashion, and then all the way through into managing the data. Something as simple as minutes of meetings inside communication down to advanced risk management and risk profiling inside a KEY360 environment, managing all the elements of your business and charting those inside our business in a box. Okay, so
Stephen?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Claudia.
We've got a question from the audience. I think it refers back to a few slides, but the question is, can you add custom columns?
Right, so that's a great question. So there are various elements where you can add custom columns into KEY360, and those include two specific areas. The one area is with our formula creation capability. So in KEY360, you can design a formula into the platform, and that becomes a calculated field, taking two elements and actually combining them. And the other area where you can add columns into KEY360 is our metadata capability. So you'll see over here that we can add multiple columns into KEY360 from a metadata perspective. So if I'm taking this risk data and I want to add the discipline column, or let's take another element here. So let's take a cost ID, cost report discipline, and you'll see that that element is added into this KEY360 view. That blue column I've just added either from the field chooser on the side, which is a drag and drop function into the grid. And that way we can add more metadata into the system. Now, from a user perspective, you can't add new random columns into KEY360. These grids are designed according to the requirements, but we do assist clients who have a specific requirement in terms of adding extra dates, adding extra text columns, adding extra number columns into the standard grid of KEY360 to support the development of the platform, as well as the specific requirements from a client perspective. I'm hoping that that answers the question.
From the chat section, I believe it does. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so we've covered a couple of elements of KEY360, and I want to stop. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to leave some time for questions, and all of this allows us to come to the point where we are in the position to build dashboards, and the building of dashboards is so critical inside an organizational environment. So you'll see from a KEY360 perspective, dashboards are extremely easy to build. They're a drag and drop environment and allow us, let's jump into a health and safety view here. So they allow us to take all the information, all the business in a box information, and literally configure any view of that information into KEY360 as a platform. And those views are vast in terms of their capability and allow us to actually design an environment, again, that digital twin capability. If you are managing a workflow, or if you're managing a specific visual fabrication process or design process in your organization, a workflow process, KEY360 allows us that capability to actually design that inside a blank canvas environment. So this is very important. And you'll see here, I'm looking at a specific environment inside, and these can be designed into KEY360, and then any process flow, any fabrication process, any physical item can be digital twinned inside KEY360, and you'll see here these items are actually connected to physical data sets as well. So
Stephen, we've got another question.
yes.
If a company engages in projects where they need to monitor timesheets per project for employees from different cost centers, such as some based in the UK and others in India, to measure their engagement, can this be achieved in KEY360?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the versatility of data management inside the platform allows KEY360 to work in any permutation of the data. So the organizational structure, as well as the coding structure, the endless coding structure inside KEY360, from and if we're talking about projects, a work breakdown structure, and a contract management structure, as well as a code of account structure, can be designed into the platform and then communicated in different global centers. And this is typically where KEY360 came from. When we started designing the environment, we had projects running globally from Mexico through to the US, South Africa, and Australia on exactly the same project. So those projects were coordinated, and we needed a tool to actually coordinate those projects that was an oil and gas environment. But yes, that can be catered for. All right, I've been through a couple of elements of KEY360. I'm going to jump back into the presentation and close out our business in a box with a view of our integrated operations center. So with what you've seen in KEY360 in terms of communicating and workflowing and dashboarding across all of these different elements, and the ease at which these elements can be combined. We allow APIs into external systems, giving you the ability to create an integrated operation center across all of these different areas, and that is effectively business in a box. Okay, and that brings us back to our ability to execute your organization from a flawless perspective. Okay, so we're into the last 5 minutes. Any more questions that we can cover? All right. We will post our support portal inside the chat. Please feel free to send us a comment, send us a like, join the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more information sharing and chats about important areas of the business. We will also be releasing PMO in a box, which will do a re-recording, as well as a lot of other information, and then specific areas of interest inside KEY360. We thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe our channel, and join the KEY360 revolution. Have a great day.